ici. Non, 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 voilà, non. Viens, viens.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. This is an old Taiwanese gun, most likely Hakka. Now back in the day, the Hakka were known to be good marksmen. Broadly speaking, this gun design resembles the Indo-Portuguese style matchlock, which spread all over East and Southeast Asia. Chinese musketeers of the Ming and Qing empires used a very similar design, but the pistol grip on most Taiwanese guns curves more dramatically than their contemporary Japanese and Chinese styles. I believe the shoulder stock doesn't show up till later on. Now, I'm not sure if the furniture or even the action is as old as the barrel here. It could be poor restoration work on top of past modification. Note the percussion cap on this muzzleloader, and note that there's a lack of metal bands to hold the barrel and the stock together. Is it a fake? Possibly, I don't know. Either way, it does have the look and feel of an old gun from Taiwan's past, when the frontier was the wild, wild east. Now, back to the Hakka, or 客家人 in Mandarin. By the 1800s, the Hakka of Miaoli and Hsinchu were known as tough, dangerous men. They led hard lives on the frontier and therefore had to be good with their blades and their guns. They were good marksmen. They still actually used matchlocks in this era, for the most part, and I suspect that's because those are easier for them to make and maintain, as opposed to the more modern bolt-action rifles. Amazingly, while much of Taiwan's endemic martial arts are fading, we do have insight on the Hakka style of musketry. James W. Davidson, in his The Island of Formosa, Past and Present, mentions the Hakka at the Battle of Damcui, or Danshui in Mandarin, which occurred in October 1884. It was a significant French defeat by the Qing imperial forces and the Taiwanese levies during the Keelung campaign of the Sino-French War. Keelung is nowadays pronounced Keelung. The Qing general recruited Hakka hillmen to the defense force. Now, Davidson wrote, "The Hakkas, although armed with their primitive matchlocks, were considered to be brave men and were hardened to the privations of warfare. Their matchlocks are described as long-barreled guns, fixed into semicircular shaped stocks, with pans for priming powder and armlets made of rattan worn around the right wrist and containing pieces of bark cord, which when lighted would keep alight for hours if necessary. When in action, the Hakka pours a charge of powder down the muzzle. On top of that are dropped 2 or 3 slug-shot or long pieces of iron without wadding. The trigger is made to receive the lighted piece of bark, and when the powder covers the priming pan and all is ready, the trigger is pulled, and if the weather is dry, off goes the gun. The ordinary method of handling these weapons is to place the lower end of the butt against the right breast, high enough to enable the curved end to rest against the cheek, and the eye to look down the large barrel upon which there are ordinarily no sights. This method is sometimes varied by discharging the guns from the hip, and is quite customary for the Hakka to lie flat on his back, place the muzzle between his toes, and, raising his head sufficiently to sight along the barrel, to take deliberate aim and fire. He is able to make good practice, while his presence, especially when surrounded by rank grass, is decidedly difficult to determine." Yeah, cool stuff. Badass. Hope y'all enjoyed this little blast from the past. Thanks, Philippe, for graciously giving his time and showing me his collection. Merci beaucoup. Thank you for tuning in on my journey. I salute yours. Peace.